Okay, so new shoes, lunch boxes, anyone else getting that back to school feeling?
I know, right? It's such a big milestone, even if our little ones aren't exactly facing down a giant chalkboard like we did.
Totally. But getting them ready for those first school days is still a big deal, and we're diving deep today into how to make that transition smooth, fun, and dare I say it, maybe even a little bit magical.
And what's fascinating is that a lot of what sets them up for success goes way beyond just, knowing their ABCs and 123s.
Right, like what are we talking here?
It's about building their confidence, their independence,
Yeah.
giving them the tools to handle all those big feelings. It's like sneaking in some really essential life skills disguised as school prep.
I love that. It's like secret agent training, but with way more crayons.
So,
Okay, so speaking of setting them up for success, one of our sources called out routine as a major factor.
oh, absolutely. And I think we can all relate to this. Imagine mornings that run like clockwork. No more breakfast battles or like desperately searching for that missing shoe.
In there.
Right. Consistent wake-up times, meal times, bedtimes. It sounds so basic, but honestly, having those routines can be like magic for reducing stress. And not just for the kids, for us parents too.
It's like you're creating this foundation for their day. Everything else might be new and a bit overwhelming, but that routine, that's solid ground.
Exactly. And it's not just about avoiding meltdowns, although I'll admit that's a definite bonus.
Right. The research actually shows there's a real link between those predictable routines and kids doing better academically later on.
That's so interesting,
Yeah, because it really helps them with self-regulation.
which is huge.
Great. Huge. For being able to focus in class, making good choices.
Totally. Okay, so we're kind of talking about making things easier. And one of our sources had this other really simple but brilliant tip for dealing with those first day jitters.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Visit the school beforehand.
Oh, like a little recon mission.
Exactly.
Love it.
Just
Yeah.
walking through the halls, peeking into the classroom, maybe even meeting the teacher. It just takes the school from being this big, scary unknown into something much more familiar and friendly.
It's so true. I remember taking my nephew for a little sneak peek at his kindergarten classroom, and he was totally fixated on this like giant abacus they had.
Huh.
And afterwards, all he could talk about was when he got to use it. It completely calmed his nerves.
Love that.
Yeah, it was really cute. And you know what else can work wonders for calming those back to school jitters?
What's that?
Story time.
Oh, I love it.
Right. It sounds so simple, but reading stories about, going to school and having positive experiences, it's like giving your child this little preview of what to expect.
It's true. And it's a safe way for them to kind of explore those feelings,
Yeah.
right? See how different situations play out, even pick up on some of those social cues and classroom routines.
Exactly.
Plus, it's just a good excuse to snuggle up with a good book.
Always a win.
Yeah.
Okay, and while we're on the topic of preparing them for this new environment, I want to talk about fostering independence.
Yes. This was another big one that came up in a lot of the research we looked at.
Right.
Like encouraging your child to do things for themselves,
Like what kind of things?
getting dressed on their own, packing their backpack, even just pouring their own juice.
Yeah.
These little things, they seem small, but they really help build a sense of, hey, I can do this.
I love that. So they show up on day one and they're like, bring it on. I got this.
Exactly. That's the goal.
Love it. Okay, before we wrap things up, I want to touch on something that might seem obvious, but it's so important. Communication.
Oh, 100%. And this isn't about like drilling them on multiplication tables or anything. It's about having those age-appropriate conversations with them about what school is actually about.
Okay, so what does that sound like?
It's about all the cool things they're going to learn, the new friends they'll make, the fun they'll have on the playground.
Right.
You're just trying to get them excited for this big adventure.
Totally. And that excitement, it's contagious. It creates such a positive connection with learning right from the get-go.
Exactly.
So as you navigate this whole back-to-school season, think about how you can involve your child in the preparation. Maybe they can help choose their backpack or pick out a special first-day outfit.
Oh, fun.
Right, it all adds up, giving them that sense of ownership and excitement that makes all the difference. And who knows, you might even have some fun doing it.
Absolutely.
It's a win-win.